We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what this is from Merf's, it is the Angry Elk hot sauce, Wahio and amber ale. And I don't know why it's called Angry Elk. I mean, it's certainly it's a memorable name, if nothing else. Okay, so what do we have? A blazingly good start, roasted red peppers, Angry Elk, amber ale, I guess that's why. Apple cider vinegar, garlic, monk fruit sweetener, Wahio, salt, and chipotle meco. So this is obviously not a very hot sauce. This is this is like 4 out of 5, which would put it at an 8 on my scale of 10. There is no way. In fact, I think this is basically a 1. You have chipotle and you have Wahio. Neither of those are particularly hot, and of course, roasted red peppers, by which I'm presuming they mean bell, is certainly not adding any heat either. So I don't. You can see I've used quite a lot of this. Probably maybe 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces left. It's very, very thick, very sludgy. Kind of get a look at it there. Some of the garlic and stuff in it. It is a interesting sauce. I like it. I can't say I love it. I do like it though. Happily, I'm not pulling a lot of the beer or the apple cider vinegar out, but to me it looks very mole-ish. And Wahio, I naturally think of Mexican food. I would say that on something like tacos, it's okay. Burgers, it's okay. But like on chicken strips, I actually don't like this. I don't like this sauce. So, but we have we got nice black flecks in there. We've got just a lot of different interesting bits and pieces. Overall brownish hue to this. You can see it's very, 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 very sludgy. So, all right, let's get on into it. Definitely getting a lot of garlic here. The pepper combination is interesting because there's a bit of smokiness from the chipotle, along with some of the deep richness of the roasted red peppers. And the Wahio, I think, is a fairly subtle pepper most of the time. That, I think, serves more to tie everything together. We got the sweetener I find really kind of interesting here, because it just adds just an edge, just a touch of sweetness to it. It's a very interesting sauce. I'm just not sure what it's meant to be paired with. So you can see, as I mentioned in the written review, and there's a link to that in the description below. This was, I think, probably one of the few hot sauces I really wasn't prepared to write the written review on by the time I did, but as you can also see, we're getting down there. You know, this not being able to get my finger on the pulse after this much usage of it is very rare. And I think it speaks to the uniqueness of the sauce. This really doesn't fit into any category. I do like it quite a bit better than the other thing I had from Merf's. And you can check out the playlist or the blog for that. The name of it's escaping my mind right at the moment, but it was another of the newer sauces. This is also another newer one to their lineup. So Merf's is definitely someone I'm going to check into a little bit more because I've seen them around. I just haven't gotten a lot of their sauces. So, all right, let's get to one of the applications I actually did like this on, which is pizza. In this case, it is a couple sections of a Little Caesar's Calzony. And so this sauce, I'm putting it on right now because I don't like this sauce cold especially. I think this sauce is actually quite a bit better warmed up. And generally, I don't like cold sauce on pizza anyway, but this is so sludgy and it sticks together. I think that's one of the things that is a bit of a drawback for me because it doesn't meld always super well with where you're using it. All right, let's, I think we did this one first, so. It is excellent on pizza. This might actually be the best usage for it. I mean, even with those ingredients, I don't think that flavor-wise it's slanted particularly towards Mexican Southwest sort of profile. It is okay on, like I said, tacos, as long as you don't mind a little bit of sweetness in your sauce. And the hotter the food is to warm up the sauce, honestly, the better. Get a little bit here for dipping. It's so thick. Thick and chunky. The flavor, I think, I think this ultimately is a sauce I find more interesting than. I hate to say good because I don't think it's bad sauce. I think it's more interesting than a flavor that I'm always super interested in eating. I guess there's that's where I put it. So the more complex food you put it with, I think the better off you are. Give it a lot more of a chance to meld with the ingredients. So you can see on this pizza, it is just holding right in place, right? So you get these sort of globules of this cold hot sauce, and it's a little, it's a little jarring. But here, man. So as far as the pizza hot sauce, I mean, to me that is by far where I think it works the best. It melds in here nicely, adds a nice flavor dynamic to things. You know, and even if that's where I wind up having to use the rest of this, probably right around an ounce left. And that's where I wind up having to use the rest of this, that's fine. I will be having pizza again. I'm not sure it'll be a calzone again, but I'm not sure it won't be a calzone again. There is a local pizza place that has a hot dough, and I'm not sure. They introduced it a number of years ago. I'm not sure if it is if they're using an extract or like a habanero or a ghost pepper powder in the dough. I've been giving some thought to getting one of those. The problem I have is I don't really want to be too locked into regional stuff. I like to have things on this video that are accessible to pretty much everybody. So if you're out there sitting at home watching and you're saying, I want to do that too, you can go buy a bottle of Merf's Angry Elk. You can go get a calzone pizza from Little Caesar. Nothing too... Even when I make stuff, it's all stuff that anyone can replicate. We get a lot of inspiration for new food ideas. More and more of it is online in video form now than ever before. Obviously, I don't use recipes. Mostly because I don't really have any recipes. It's all up in my noodle. It's all stuck in my noggin. So I don't know what recipe I could... I guess I could make one, but I prefer to kind of do it by intuition and feel. And I don't want to ever make the same thing exactly the same way twice. Alrighty, so. This is a very likable sauce. It kind of exists in that area where it is not my favorite, certainly nowhere near what I would ever call my favorite, but I do find it overall likable. I think it's a very unique sauce. I think in the right setting, it can add a really nice dynamic to stuff. The heat is minimal. I think I gave it a 1. I think I'm being generous giving it a 1. But since I don't do halves, it's not a 0. I mean, there's a little bit in there. There's a little tingle. It's very, very minor though. I don't see anyone being challenged by this, whether you're a chili head or not. But I like experimentalism. I like it when companies push the boundaries of what a hot sauce can be and do and taste like. And I think this sauce does that quite a bit. Even though I'm not really a huge fan of beers in sauces, I think this is one of the few sauces where I think it works well. My issue, I think, more with this is how clumpy it is and the fact that it can't smooth out and integrate in the way that I would like. Being clumpy, it also retains those bits of cold temperature, and because it is so garlic forward, you kind of get a little bit of a blast of cold garlic, which maybe not my favorite thing. Overall, though, I find this to be, a pretty enjoyable sauce. I think overall, it certainly gets points for uniqueness. Like I was saying, again, complex foods, tacos, burgers, pizza. I really, really like it on pizza. I think this is actually just an outstanding pizza sauce, and for not having tomatoes in it, that is honestly kind of wild to me. Usually, if a sauce has tomatoes, it will tend to be pretty decent on pizza. This one, I think the garlic in there and the sweetness is just very graceful. It's a grace note, right? It's not very forward. It's not a super sweet sauce by any means. So yeah, I think overall this is a winner. very, very narrow, I think, in where it actually works well. For me, anyway. And we'll just leave it there. So there it is, the Merf's Angry Elk Hot Sauce.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.